Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our third edition of the Madison Milwaukee Downtown Exchange, a partnership between us at Downtown Madison Inc. and our friends at Milwaukee Downtown. We're talking about downtown issues that affect the two largest downtowns in the state. We've got a very interesting topic today. We're talking about the importance of higher education to our downtowns. Both of our downtowns are so lucky to have multiple colleges and universities within our districts, and we're honestly the apple of many downtowns' eyes to have such important facilities right here in our downtowns. We're so thankful for our partners at Milwaukee Downtown. We're going to hear from Matt Dorner here in a little bit, but thank you for our friends at Milwaukee Downtown for all that they do to create a great Milwaukee Downtown and for your partnership on this event. I'm Jason Elster, president of Downtown Madison Inc., and I'll be walking you through this event today. We have a panel discussion, and we're going to have a time for question and answer from all of you. So if you have any questions for our panel, please put those questions at any time in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll make sure to ask those. We're thanks to our friends at Reinhardt, our major series sponsor, and our supporting series sponsors, Bolt and Whitfley. Without them, we would not be here, and we're excited to have a couple of guests from a couple of those companies to say a little bit more about the great work of both Reinhardt and Bolt. And we've got Jeremy Andrade, who is an associate real estate attorney with Reinhardt. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Good morning, Jason. I am well. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. As Jason noted, my name is Jeremy Anderek. I'm a real estate attorney with a law firm called Reinhardt Berner Van Duren. Reinhardt is a full-service law firm with multiple U.S. offices, including, importantly, Madison and Milwaukee. We are so proud to sponsor Downtown Madison Inc.'s and Milwaukee Downtown's Madison and Milwaukee Downtown Exchange. Reinhardt, and especially our real estate group, which is the largest and, in my opinion, the best practice of its kind in the state of Wisconsin, is committed to partnering with people interested in improving our communities and to helping our clients adapt to navigate the ever-evolving physical and political landscape around them. So, on behalf of Reinhardt, thank you all for being here this morning, and of course, happy Halloween.
Oh, Jeremy, you reminded me. I even put a note on the top of my script to say Happy Halloween. So thank you, Jeremy. Happy Halloween to you. And we agree. We love our friends at Reinhardt. Many of you may know this whole event was started by a partner at Reinhardt, Nathan Wadier, and his great idea to bring the two downtowns together. All right, speaking of a company that brings downtown together, who's helping literally build those downtowns, we have Carrie Beck, who's the Director of Business Development for Bolt, here with us as well this morning. Carrie, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for having us, and good morning to everyone. Happy Halloween to everyone in this fine snowy morning. As Jason said, I'm Carrie Beck with the Bolt Company. I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Business Development for both our Madison and Milwaukee operations. On behalf of Bolt, we are very proud to sponsor DMI Milwaukee Downtown's Madison Milwaukee Downtown Exchange Series. For those who may be unfamiliar with Bolt, Bolt is a 135-year-old family-managed and employee-owned construction company with really deep roots here in Wisconsin, where Bolt first opened. We now have 17 offices nationwide. We help our clients meet their commercial construction needs by providing innovative solutions in diverse markets, including education, healthcare, industrial, life science, energy, and automotive. And as employers with offices here in Madison, Milwaukee, we share the same interests as I'm sure many of you do. We want to obtain the best and brightest in our communities and retain local talent. And so for generations, Bolt has partnered with universities to build exceptional facilities, from student unions to research centers to campus power plants. And we know campus construction is more than simply creating great learning spaces. It's creating an experience that attracts students and faculty to our communities for generations to come, people who we want to choose to stay to work and play here. So I look forward to hearing today's panelists address the importance of higher education to downtowns in our two fine cities. And thank you to DMI and Milwaukee Downtown for your collaboration in hosting today's discussion.
Well, happy Halloween to you, Carrie. Yes, unfortunately, it is snowing here, but thank you to our friends at Bolt. Thank you, Carrie, very much. We appreciate it. Thank you to our friends at Reinhardt and Jeremy, and also thank you to our friends at Whitfley. All right, Why are we here today? Matt Dorner, the director of all things in our friends in Milwaukee. We're going to talk about why we're here to discuss this important subject. And I want to start off by talking about a group that both of us are a part of, the International Downtown Association. And we just had our conference a few weeks ago in Chicago, over 1,500 folks just like us from around the world who manage downtowns, work in bids, work in chamber-like organizations. They get together and they really talk about best practices. And when we talk about we're from either Milwaukee or Madison, people say how lucky we are to have institutes of higher education right in the center of our downtowns. They are so important. And you can see that many of the downtowns that are on the rise now or on the rise after COVID are moving more quickly towards an economic stability and strength because they have institutes of higher education right within their downtown. Our friends at the Brookings Institute have done significant research to understand why it's important, and there are factors as to why downtowns are so lucky to have these forms of higher institution within our boundaries. And you can see that research institutions are essential because they help create innovation. They help, and that innovation helps grow the economy in the area. And so much happens at both UW, MSOE, and at Marquette. There's so much innovation happening that it helps the downtown significantly. They also help the urban areas. They produce more patents. We've seen clearly that urban centers with downtowns produce more patents, and that creates more corporate partnerships and more startups for the downtown. And I think that helps both Milwaukee and downtown. And I think usually these downtowns are also located with universities in what we call innovation districts. And so you see these innovation districts happen and you see the quality of life come from it because all this talent is coming together. What the students need helps what the residents need and vice versa. And they create these really vibrant, economically strong, equitable, and inclusive places to live, work, and visit. And we see that here directly with the University of Wisconsin-Madison here in downtown Madison. And I'm sure Matt will say you see the exact same thing with their friends at Marquette and MSOE. Matt, why do you find that having both MSOE and Marquette is so important to the success of your downtown?
Well, thank you, Jason. And I want to say a quick congratulations on our 10th Downtown Exchange. So it's been such a great partnership and something that I'm looking forward to continuing forward. And today's topic is spot on. And exactly, thank you for setting it up. All of your comments are very, very spot on. But yeah, we are very lucky. I mean, the Milwaukee metro area itself being a college town, 11 different universities, over 100,000 students enrolled across those different higher education institutions, but then having a concentration of those institutions with MSOE, Marquette, and several others in the greater downtown area. As you had mentioned, these institutions continue to reinvest in their campuses, making places that are attractive to students and really building out a district, a mixed use environment. And I look forward to hearing from our partners on some of the projects that we recently completed and some of the projects that they have coming up. Just real quickly, we had recently adopted an update to our downtown plan. And one of the focal areas in the downtown plan was really touching base with our educational stakeholders in the greater downtown area. So multiple one-on-one conversations and really documenting the importance. In the downtown plan area, for example, just under 10% of the land area is owned by facilities of education. So significant property owners and stakeholders in the core of downtown. Those institutions with over 30,000 students and hundreds of millions of dollars of recent investment and planned investment coming up. So again, not only just continuing to be just a major stakeholder, but with big plans moving forward. So really happy to be here and kind of turn it back and kick off the panel discussion.
Yeah, you bring us some really important statistics. I know Ben Miller from UW is going to come up next and talk about, what the size and importance of UW is, 50,000 students, tens of thousands of employees here in the downtown. They really are a bedrock of downtown Madison. All right, so we're going to get into our panel discussion. Each of our panelists are going to give a highlight of what's happening at their institution. And then we've got a great panel discussion followed by Q&A from anyone in our audience. So again, if you have questions, put your questions in the chat or in the Q&A function. All right, I'm going to introduce our panel. We've got three excellent panelists here today. I'm going to start with our good friend here in Madison, Ben Miller, who's the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Government Affairs and Strategic Partnerships at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We have Kelsey Arturo, who is the Senior Director of Community Engagement at Marquette University, and Jo Ellen Burdu, who's the Senior Director of Communication and Media Relations at MSOE. We're going to start with Madison's own Ben Miller. Ben, how is everything at UW? And I'm just going to get right into it since it's Halloween. You haven't even tried the new Babcock flavor, 175 s'mores, but your boss did. How is the new flavor?
I hear it is very tasty. So I'll be lining up soon to get some, hopefully today.
Even as it's snowing, I really do appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, let us know what's happening at UW and all the investment that you're making here in the downtown.
Yeah. Well, let me first say thank you, Jason, and it's great to see you as always. And I want to say thank you to you and your team at DMI for creating, I think, the best downtown in the country. And I know it takes a lot of work, and you're just doing awesome in celebrating Madison and making it such a great place to live and work and play. I'll also say, before I get into what's happening on campus, the relationship with the city is really, really important, and our downtown businesses. And I'll say that, I've traveled a lot through the Big Ten, getting to know my counterparts across the Big Ten sort of footprint. And it's not always the case that the anchor flagship university that's located in that Big Ten city has this type of relationship that we have with our elected officials and our business leaders. I think we have one of the strongest partnerships, one of the most vibrant and robust. And I'll say that that's not always the case across the Big Ten. And it's sometimes those relationships are full of tension, as you can imagine. The footprint of a major operation like UW-Madison and the pressure that it puts on the city resources. But we have always had a good relationship. And I think that takes a lot of care and feeding. It doesn't just happen, right? And it's a lot of engagement and service and communication that allows for those relationships to flourish. So let me just say a minute or two, and then I look forward to the rest of the panelists and the discussion. We're much like UW, Milwaukee, and Marquette. We're very integrated with the city, and it's very difficult to see where campus ends and the city begins. And we see this as a major asset to our institution and believe that our students do as well. And as far as the role that we play downtown in the downtown Madison community, I think there are a handful of ways I want to highlight, some of which you've already discussed. First is the academic mission and the size and scope of our academic commitment, teaching, and also our research, which you've mentioned, the $1.4 billion in annual research expenditure, which, attracts all kinds of talent and results in economic impact here in Dane County and across the state. I'll also state the obvious, our athletic department has a huge impact not just in Madison, but across the state as well. And our latest estimates is that we have about 2 million visitors that come into Madison for a sporting event per year, with about a $760 million economic impact, which is a big deal for our businesses here in Dane County and the surrounding areas. And as you mentioned, our enrollment continues to skyrocket. Our applications are up. And our enrollments are up. Our physical space, we can get into the specific projects in a little bit. But I would say that, it's much like we're physically connected, or it's hard to see where the campus starts and the city starts. We also share the same pressures or the same concerns that the city has in terms of housing, transportation, and all of the challenges that come with economic growth. I'll just say UW students, faculty, and staff make up about 50% of the Madison metro ridership in the city. And so that's a critical arrangement that we have with the city of Madison in terms of getting people to and from work and school and all of those things. Obviously our students are working in downtown businesses. They're volunteering in nonprofit organizations and providing important support there. And I'll finally say, the quality of life, I think this goes both ways, right? The city, we feel like UW-Madison plays a role in making the city a vibrant and culturally rich place to be, with, lectures, concerts, art installations, film festivals, all the things that people come to Madison to enjoy. And so I'll stop there and let my fellow panelists talk about their campuses. And as I said, I can get into some specific developments if you're interested.
Well, Ben, thank you. I think one of the things that really importantly you say is there really is no boundary between the downtown and the campus. Really, it is quite nebulous. And you see that. You can see, the students interacting with the general population, and it really is fantastic. And I want to say a big thank you. For years, we've run a program for our policy researchers that are students of the La Follette Institute, and that has been just a wonderful boon for us. So thank you for your help there. And next up is Kelsey from our friends at Marquette. How is everything in Marquette? How's everything in Milwaukee, Kelsey?
Milwaukee's good, a little chilly and cold, but we'll handle it. We're tough.
Yes. Yeah.
Should know it's coming by now. So my name is Kelsey Otero. I'm the Senior Director of Community Engagement at Marquette University. I do a lot of work as an anchor engaged institution. Marquette, as was highlighted, has significant real estate property and investment in 3 primary areas: downtown or West Town, Menominee Valley, and the near west side of Milwaukee. We take our role as an anchor very seriously. When we think about what it means to be an anchor institution, it's about providing the social glue, doing convening, serving as a significant intellectual resource in the city of Milwaukee, and then also our power and responsibility as an economic engine. That means supporting businesses, new partnerships, as well as students who have innovative ideas. We also take the responsibility of the social capital that we have very seriously. I talk often about how one of the best ways to engage as a civic agent or community engaged representative of the university is to think about diverse spending and where you're going to restaurants, that we're supporting diverse businesses in the Milwaukee area. I think that's an easy way for everyone on our campus to engage. One of the great things about Marquette University is that we are a brain gain school. So we have a lot of students that come from Chicago as well as rural areas of Wisconsin. And they come to Marquette specifically because they want an urban experience. They want to be able to take advantage of all of the things that the downtown offers to them. And the even cooler thing is they have a chance to experience that while they're in school, and they choose to stay. So I still stay in touch with a lot of students who had such a wonderful experience at Marquette. They were able to participate in internships with a lot of the amazing corporations that we have here. And their first destination post-college is in Milwaukee, downtown specifically. And a lot of them have a chance to really, for the first time during their later years in school, and then as new employees joining the workforce, to experience all of the great things that Milwaukee has to offer. On our campus, a couple of exciting projects that I will share briefly. We recently completed our new College of Business building, which technically not in the downtown bid, but I think, is significant because they play a really strong role as a convener, pulling together some of the major business entities in the city of Milwaukee on a regular basis. And they really want to be the place where business happens or business starts in Milwaukee. We are working on completing our new student wellness center as well as our new student success center. So, Marquette is actively engaging in the building and development of, the overall economic capacity in the city of Milwaukee. And we're so excited to continue to be a partner with downtown as well as some of our other academic partners and institutions that are also huge collaborators and supporters in this work as well.
I love this concept of the brain gain, right? I mean, you're attracting as a magnet these students to come into Milwaukee downtown. They like a urban university. I like one too. I went to Boston University, right? And you really like to have all those amenities there, but then you keep that talent in the area. And I know Marquette has done significant work to try to keep that talent in and working at, Manpower or Northwestern Mutual or whatever those companies are. So, kudos to you. Really think that says the importance of our institutions in our downtown. All right, last up, we've got Joellen Burdu with MSOE, who's made significant development. If you've been in Milwaukee's downtown, there's a lot happening, including a soccer field on top of a parking ramp. I mean, you're doing incredible things at MSOE. How is everything at MSOE?
It's going gangbusters at MSOE, and to your point about our soccer field, our men's team, and I think the women's team as well, they are on the verge of winning the conference championships and moving on from there. So go Raiders. So MSOE has been around since 1903, and I don't know if everybody knows the history of the institution, in that we were founded to serve the needs of business and industry. Our founder recognized the need for, all these burgeoning technologies that were coming on board, and they needed specifically engineers to help advance their industry. Nothing's changed in the past 120 years. We are still here to serve the needs of business and industry. Our smaller size has allowed us to be nimble and to shift at a moment's notice, to add new degree programs that our industry partners are asking for. The most recent example is our computer science undergraduate degree that's focused on artificial intelligence. We've had support of alumni to bring that on board with our brand new Dwight and Diane Derrick's Computational Science Hall with a supercomputer. We've got partnerships with business and industry to use the supercomputer and work with our students on applied research in those regards. That's just one example. We can get more into our development later on in the panel discussion here. Our enrollment we're gaining every year as well. We're on the upswing, just like our partner institutions downtown, but I think there's a few of us who are really standing out in the state as enrolling students. And to Kelsey's point, we're also a brain gain institution. We do attract a lot of students from Northern Illinois, the rural areas of Wisconsin. We're finding that 70% of our students are staying in the state after they graduate. I think we're attracting about 60% of our students from within the state. So there's a 10% increase right there. We recently completed an economic impact study, and in the city of Milwaukee alone, we've got $155 million economic impact. You broaden that to the region, we're up to $321 million. So there's a lot happening at MSOE, and we're so thankful to be in downtown Milwaukee. I think that aids in our success. And I think corporations are recognizing the benefits of being in downtown. When you look at how many companies have relocated to Milwaukee, that's just a testament to the vibrancy that we have going on in our city.
Without a question, it really does create a sense of vibrancy. I think that's our first question for our panel discussion. Why is it important that institutes of higher education are located in downtown? So that generic 30,000 foot. Ben, we'll start with you. Why, obviously it's been 75 years since the university was located in and around downtown. Why is it important overall, though, the universities are housed in downtowns?
Yeah, no, I'll build off of the last comments. I think that, we at UW-Madison also see ourselves as an anchor institution and a true partner of the city. And, we live by this Wisconsin idea, where the boundaries of the university are the boundaries of the state and beyond. And I'll say, in addition to what I mentioned before about our students volunteering and working, in local businesses and restaurants and nonprofits, we're also sort of the access to healthcare as well, and high quality healthcare at that. And so, having the university here, we're one of, I think, maybe 4 or 5 universities in the country that have everything from a law school to a business school to an ag school to a vet school, a school of nursing, school of medicine and public health. I think there are only 4 or 5 that have all of those units located on one campus. And so we're very fortunate and diverse in that way. And I think that provides all kinds of opportunities to connect and support, our city. I'll also highlight a really exciting investment that we've made in the South Madison area, where we've opened an office called UW South Madison Partnership. That is a UW-Madison satellite office on the southern part of the city, very diverse part of our city, where we host for free all kinds of academic programs, We support UW Extension. You know, they do tax prep. We have a law clinic. Our Odyssey program is located there. So really a entry into the campus, but not having to be physically on campus, but nearby to support our nonprofit community as well. So I would say those are a few of the ways that we support or view ourselves as sort of a an anchor to the city.
Joel, and you in your mission of your university as to why you were created was to serve the needs of businesses and industry. And obviously downtown, that's where they came about, right? It was a collection of people, collection of industry, collection of everything coming into one space. How is your mission, for your original mission, still, how's it lived out today in helping these downtowns? And why is it important that you are located in a downtown?
I think it's a two-way street. As much as a benefit as it is to the businesses, it's a benefit to our students. They've got all this opportunity right outside their door for internships and full-time employment once they graduate. And for them, just knowing that there are these big name companies that they can work at, that's really appealing to a 17-year-old when they're looking where they want to go to college. It's like, oh, you mean that's like 3 blocks away from my dorm? Like that's really cool. I could have an internship there. And I think too, one thing I want to touch on is having universities in a downtown urban environment, I think adds to not only the vibrancy, as I mentioned earlier, but the safety of a downtown as well. Like we're a stable community with the right people in the right place. And that just adds to that sense of community and makes visitors feel welcome. So when there's, folks living there and dining there and going to sporting events and all that. And it just really adds to, I think, the benefit for the city as a whole.
One thing we see, Kelsey, is the connectedness, right, to the downtown and to the different folks that are there. Marquette has just hundreds of thousands of alumni. How does that connection between the alumni, the downtown, and so the connectedness to campus, how does that help ensure that you have a successful, experience for your students, but also that help the economic development of downtowns?
Yeah, great question. I admittedly will say I'm probably a little bit biased, but I do think we have one of the most loyal groups of alumni in the entire country, and they will show up for a Marquette event. They will show up for a Marquette student repeatedly. And one of the things that they're just really, really excited about is their commitment to Milwaukee. We have an alumni group in San Diego that will fly out real chili. That's how much they care about some of the products and businesses that are located in Milwaukee that they had a chance to experience when they were students here. So that commitment's pretty unwavering. We're pretty lucky that our basketball team is able to play at Fiserv Forum, for example, and the economic benefit that provides to the city is huge. The amount of alumni and students that we have showing up for games on a regular basis and contributing to the economic development, supporting businesses in the area is incredibly critical. I will also say as a university, our core mission is to educate. We were set up in many Jesuit universities, we were set up in urban city centers to educate people at the margins, a lot of diverse immigrant populations that other universities and schools were not admitting. And that's something that, core to our mission, we continue to take seriously and continue to make sure there's access and open doors to diverse populations of students. I think that adds to the creativity as a university that we're able to help generate and the opportunity to bring different ideas, backgrounds together. As an academic institution, one of the big things that, we are meant to do is to educate. And one of the ways that we do that is through many of our clinics that are on campus. So Ben, while you have many of the other schools, the one that we do have in the state of Wisconsin is our dental clinic. And our dental clinic provides about $17 million in free services, majority of them in the city of Milwaukee, but throughout the state as well. So this is not only an opportunity for our students to learn here, but an opportunity in which as a university, we can provide really key critical services to populations throughout the city. And, Joe Ellen mentioned just the bi-directional necessity of the work that we do and how reliant I think universities and communities are on each other. And, continuing to develop healthy town-gown relationships is really critical to the work that we all do.
Now, not that I got lost in your first sentence, but you can ship out real chili?
Someone would fly with it. One of our folks
Oh,
from
okay. 'Cause
advancement would
that was
buy
about to be a
it
game
here,
changer.
fly
Like,
out there so they could have
could
it.
I
But
get that
that's
for lunch
commitment.
today? If you've never had real chili, have it. My other tip, and everyone who knows me knows this, I'm addicted to Kopp's custard. Ben, I love Babcock. Don't get me wrong, but Kopp's custard, oh, that Milwaukee's finest. All right, enough about me. I want to take the inverse question for each of you. I'm going to start with Joellen. Not why the university is important for the institution, but why is the city and the downtown important for the institution itself? So what does the downtown do for the institution? Joellen, how does the Milwaukee downtown help MSOE?
There's been so much investment in our downtown that it's made the area very appealing to our students. Our parents who are sending their students here feel comfortable sending them to the big city, even if they're coming from a rural area, because of the vibrancy of the city around us. Access to the Hop, which is downtown's trolley. Our students are riding that all the time just to go get a haircut, to go dine in the third ward. The amenities that are available to them are awesome. They're just always going to the theater. They're going to the Pfizer Forum for games. They're out and about in downtown Milwaukee. And I don't know that you get that if you're at a campus that's in the middle of a cornfield somewhere. It's just a different experience where our students really become comfortable in an urban environment. And I think that bodes well for their careers as they move on. They kind of understand how downtowns work, and the opportunities that is available to them is amazing.
Same question for you, Kelsey. What does Milwaukee downtown do for the students at Marquette?
I think first and foremost, it gives them access to an urban experience that, and that is probably the number one reason outside of a job or career that people choose Marquette University. And that leads to the second, the access to internship opportunities that are available in downtown are, they rival most other universities in metropolitan cities across the country. So those are easily 1 and 2 in terms of why students are thinking about and considering Marquette. And those are huge advantages that the downtown area provides to our university. The other big one is, this generation of students that we have right now, they care a lot about sustainability, which includes transportation, Joellen mentioned. So access to the Hop, access to Bubbler, access, we are right on the BRT line. Like, those are transportation advancements that did not exist previously, and ensure that students are not only able to get around and experience downtown, but they're able to do it in a way that aligns with their personal beliefs. And then, I'm just excited to continue to see the transformation and development of those opportunities that continue to give our students access to experience the really great things that Milwaukee has. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention just the outside of the vibrant downtown, the access to water that is so important. Marquette, along with many of our other universities, have really put a stake in the ground around water being a priority in terms of research and economic development. And so between the river, access to great organizations and startups focusing on water, and then the lake, you really have a lot of aspects that really create not only just a beautiful, vibrant environment that students are able to enjoy from an urban standpoint, but also really important economic aspects that are a result of that directly.
And Ben, in Madison.
Yeah, let me just say, very similar. Being located in downtown Madison provides some really unique learning opportunities for our students, faculty and staff. I'll highlight one example. Through our University Alliance, students get to ask city leaders, these are students, what problems would you like to solve if you had the resources? And then we work with our faculty to structure entire classes around solving those challenges. And just last fall, one of our real estate classes studied Madison's sustainable development strategies and how they align or don't align with city plans and policies, and then presented those recommendations to city planners and city officials. So I think I'll just echo what the other 2 panelists said. It does provide a really unique learning experience being located in downtown Madison. everything from jobs and internships to volunteer opportunities. And I think it's important to highlight the two-way, as your question alludes to, right? We both benefit from being located together. We can bring the expertise of the university and in the community, but perhaps more importantly, our faculty and students are benefiting from the knowledge and insights that community leaders share with us, and we make it a point to bring those perspectives into our work every day.
Well, honestly, from a community leader perspective, having institutions like MSOE, Marquette, and our example, UW Madison is so important. And I can just use one example. There's been a long conversation about what to happen with State Street. Right? Should it become a more of a pedestrian mall? What could happen? And that conversation's become more pronounced over the last few years as the decision to add bus rapid transit to downtown became part of the conversation. And DMI as an organization has worked extensively with students from UW on conversations, particularly about the lower end of State Street, the 400 through 600 blocks. And now the buses are going to be removed. And the university, that really is the university's sort of part of State Street. If you know it well, that's the sort of lower part of State Street, closer to the university, away from the Capitol. And the students at UW have been a huge part of the conversation, and I would argue have helped advocate for now the removing of those buses, and then what could happen in the future. DMI as an organization is working with the School of Landscape Architecture and Urban Planning on a capstone project to redesign that. Last year, we did the exact same thing with the College of Engineering, where you had environmental engineers and transportation engineers and you name it, working directly on that issue. We worked on an alley called Hawthorne Court with our friends at the School of Human Ecology. And so, I know I'm not a panelist on this, but it is so important, the work that our example, UW is giving back to our downtown. We have about 34,000 residents in the downtown, and 83% of those are ages 18 to 34. A lot of those are students, and we need to hear from those students, and they're actually giving back to those projects. So I'm going to ask a question. What more do you need from institutions like ours or the city or Milwaukee downtown for your students to succeed, or for the universities to succeed? Ben, I'll start with you on that question.
I would say we're already embarking on this together, and that's housing. Growth in both of our cities is important and really, really exciting, but it comes with its challenges, right? And we can talk about transportation and the developments and improvements and upgrades that are happening in that space. But I think housing is absolutely critical. And we are working with local businesses and developers on creative ways to get more affordable housing available to our students, faculty, and staff. In fact, we're working with the city right now on a master agreement where developers could, proceed with their project and offer some discount rooms to UW Madison students, and our Office of Financial Aid will be working to verify that those students are eligible for Pell Grants or financial aid, and perhaps would be eligible for those rooms in those developments. We're going to need more thinking like that. We're going to need more, collaboration, innovation, experimentation on ways to address this, because it's not going away. And every year it seems like, we're struggling to get, our students in camp. We want to make sure our freshman class is on campus, because that's really critical for their educational transition. But beyond that, as our enrollments go up, we're going to need to partner with the city and the city businesses on, creative housing solutions. So that's one thing I would say, is the continued engagement and continued conversation around that topic with our leaders.
Kelsey and Joel, and I'm sure you're having some of the same affordable housing issues and transportation issues that we're having here in Madison. What are you seeing that you need more of from the city and from the community?
I would agree with housing. I would take a little bit different spin to it. One of our big priorities is around workforce housing. So how do we continue to retain really great talent at Marquette University? And we're not alone as a university in this. Talent that has access to affordable housing. We are like 30,000, units, houses, properties short of what we need for people to experience and live in the downtown, that also want to work in the downtown area. And so the more we can do to make sure that we're thinking not just about our students, but our employees as major stakeholders of our universities and constituents that need access to affordable workforce housing. At the university, we often refer to it as the missing middle. And I've been on a tour of universities across the country looking at how they are doing housing, how they are addressing specifically for employees housing gap needs. So there's some creative solutions out there that we're excited to continue to explore. But I would say if anyone on this call is interested in workforce housing, please follow up with me. Would love to chat a little bit more. Outside of housing, you know, I didn't mention this earlier in the call, but prior to my current role at Marquette, I ran the Innovation Center. And I think, Jason, you mentioned at the beginning just the opportunity for universities to be engines of creativity and the benefit that can come from that and having them in metropolitan and urban environments, I think is something that we need to continue to press and create these synergies and opportunities for students at young ages to develop an entrepreneurial creative mindset. That is you know, they may not launch a business when they're 20 years old, but we are laying the foundation by partnering with cities and by them being in an environment that pushes the creativity envelope and gives them a chance to connect with students from other universities or leaders in the city. And those seeds are really the formation of what I think not only allows us to attract and then retain talent, but give them pathways to continue to develop businesses, employ people here, and see a creative path forward for themselves.
Yeah, before we get to Joellen, just a note there. I mean, that is on the city, right? The infrastructure, the businesses, the city itself, to help ensure that those ideas, those innovative ideas, move to a product and become something that's important. You know, obviously the great one here in Madison that came right out of UW is Epic, right? It was based out of UW computer science department. And now they're 14,000 employees out in Verona. And I think 75% of our healthcare records in the country are on their system. And so that's the big example, but we need a million examples. Like my wife, who's a social entrepreneur, right? Who's starting her own business, a proud UW law school graduate. We need to be taking those innovative ideas and moving them to the market. And that's up to us in the private side to help, right? With tax advice, with banking, financial advice, with, patent advice, whatever that looks like, we need to be willing to help. You see that a lot, Joellen, in the engineering fields, right? We have a dearth of engineers throughout our state, and we need more and more and more. What do you need from our community to continue to make sure that that MSOE succeeds?
Yeah, by and large, the majority of our students are enrolled in engineering programs, but more and more students across all of our majors are interested in innovation and startups. And to Kelsey's point, I think the more we can do around innovation, whether that's with artificial intelligence and machine learning, or for the business student who has an idea of a product they want to launch. We've got resources on campus and are always looking to expand that and open up partnerships. So again, if anybody is interested in mentoring students or offering programming or partnering with us in that regard, feel free to reach out and raise your hand. We'd love to have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to any one of us. I know Matt, Beth, myself from our teams would love to make any connections we can. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to the student body. What big question, I think, and we Kelsey really talked about it and why people want to move to sort of big cities. But what do you think the downtowns can do to help both attract new talent, but also retain that talent? So what do you need to see more from downtowns? Kelsey, we'll start with you.
Okay, two big things are, the cultural aspect. I love what you guys are pushing with arts and entertainment and just the streetscaping and placemaking efforts that, as a natural byproduct of that, make the downtown not just more attractive and safe, but also exciting and progressive. And I'm just so excited to see what you guys, at least on the Milwaukee side, continue to come up with and drive forward. I know I do a lot of work with Near West Side Bid, and we look to you guys and what you're doing. You're really kind of the gold standard. And so the more that I think you guys push the envelope, the more others are able to take suit and glean examples from or inspiration from. I think for our students who are then out walking, they have the chance to experience the really vibrant nature of the city. So that is one. And then the other one is really pushing around sustainability. I think that is something that is so important to our students coming in, and that cannot be something that cities or universities or individuals or businesses are doing on their own. And so the more opportunity for collaboration, I think the stronger it will continue to situate Milwaukee and give our universities opportunity to allow students to want to participate, want to be part of what we're growing and developing on the more progressive side of sustainability and environmental justice.
I'm gonna make a plug right now for our friends at Milwaukee Downtown. I don't know that all of you understand in Milwaukee the gold standard with which Milwaukee Downtown sets placemaking. I mean, we as an organization, Madison, are borrowing from them because of the great work that Gabriel and Beth and Matt have done for years to create that vibrant, those interesting spaces in and around the downtown, the mural projects and the public art, you name it. Milwaukee Downtown is at the leading edge of this work. And I just want to make sure to say that. Joellen, what are you seeing that you need to track the students that are coming to MSOE, and most importantly, to retain them so that they want to live here post-graduation?
It seems a little silly in this grand discussion right now, but a lot of our students are looking for like easy access to like Target or a department. They're really excited that Kohl's is opening a location in downtown Milwaukee, but sometimes you just need some personal hygiene products or a new pair of slippers or something that you don't want to wait for Amazon to deliver it. So the creature comforts, I would say, are kind of important to the students. Thank goodness there is Amazon. They can have anything delivered in a matter of a couple of days. But that is something that I've heard our students talk about a lot.
That does matter, and we're very happy that we don't open to Target here in downtown Madison here just a few months ago. What do you need, Ben, from Madison? What do you hear from students? Why do they come to Madison to begin with? But I think again that second part of the question is so important for organizations like us. What can we do to retain that talent, to start a business here, to participate in the economy?
I think this has been a conversation that we've had as the chancellor and I, travel across the state, not just, here in Madison, but there are so many Wisconsin big brand companies that students who come from out of state or out of, from out of the country are not aware that they're here in our backyard, right? Or they're not familiar with those brands. And not just Fortune 500 companies, but other, small and mid-sized businesses that they might offer, have products that the students are familiar with, but aren't aware of the fact that they're here in Wisconsin. And so getting in front of the students in creative ways early and often is one way you're going to land the talent that you want, and one way we're going to keep the students here, or they might go away and then come back, right? Remembering their internship at Kohl's or their internship at Kohler or whatever it might be. And so I'll answer the question sort of broadly for like the state of Wisconsin. And there is this great, set of companies that we take for granted, but our students who are coming from all over the world aren't familiar with. And so we need to take an intentional approach at guest lectures, career fairs, sponsorships of events, getting your name and your brand in front of this really large group of young people who are going to be consumers and ultimately employees, I should say. And I'm happy to talk more about creative ways that we're doing that already, but we're open to new ways as well. We're always open to that.
Well, you are, and you make the investment, right? If it's Doug Barton who's running that type of program, you mentioned it earlier, the great staff you have, UW South Madison Partnership. We are so thankful for the amazing work of Brenda Gonzalez and Gavin Luter, who runs university program. The university has hired some outstanding people to make these connections between the community. All right, what does the future hold for your universities? What sort of development are you on the cusp of or moving forward on? And what does the future relationship look like for downtown? Joellen, we'll start with you.
Yeah, just last week we celebrated the grand opening of our Conservatory of Music, the Patricia E. Kern Conservatory of Music, which, yes, at Milwaukee School of Engineering, we have that facility dedicated for our student musicians to have a practice and rehearsal space and to store their instruments. So that's been a nice addition to campus. Coming up soon will be the opening of the Kendall E. Brunig Center for the Built Environment. That is a new academic facility that we took ownership of nearly a year ago, I think. And soon we'll begin renovations on that to bring that on board. So we're hoping in the next year or two to have the renovations complete for that. Those are the things coming forward. Recently, we opened the We Energy STEM Center at MSOE, which has been a great resource for the community. We're really focused on K through 12 STEM outreach programming, and that's given a lot of students a home to pursue their STEM related passions. If their school doesn't offer a program or anything, we're easily accessible on a bus line. So that's been fortunate for a lot of students in the city of Milwaukee to come to campus and get exposed to a collegiate environment and get excited about STEM.
Kelsey, what's in the future hold for Marquette?
We have a lot of building projects underway. I think I see Matt nodding. It's been amazing to see the transformation on campus and how many alumni come back and are just blown away at the progress that Marquette has made really within the last few years. One of our big ones coming up is a new health, wellness, and recreation center. We're really putting our flag in the ground around health, wellness, and mental health access for students. And those are conversations, convening, and resources that we continue to hope to really be leaders in providing. Another big thing we talk about is reducing the friction to access resources at Marquette and to be partners with those across the city and the state. I think, I have conversations with colleagues at UW-Madison as well as other universities in the Milwaukee area. And I think continuing to look at how important conversations like this are to driving those opportunities to collaborate is incredibly important. And then, in the same vein of thinking about reducing friction, I think one thing I'm hoping as a university we can continue to think about and to work with many of you on the call on is how there are opportunities to creatively collaborate and think about resources that exist at our university. So one thing we have not really talked about a ton is the data and the academic rigor and research that our universities bring to projects moving forward, and really making sure that we are thinking about that as an expertise, the intellectual property, and the expertise of many of our faculty as leaders, nationwide, being part of these collaborations and opportunities. And then the last thing is kickoff of basketball season. I think it's just always such an exciting time for our university, for our alumni, and for the entire city. So look forward to seeing many of you out at games as well.
All right then, Kelsey. Who's going to win on December 2nd when UW plays Marquette at the Kohl Center?
That is the
I think I know your answer. Or we know your answer. Ben, who's going to win?
I think we know. We're playing here, I think, right? So we get the advantage.
It's it's two great teams. Marquette's ranked 5th in the country. I think Wisconsin was just outside of the poll at 26. So this could be a fun year for Wisconsin basketball. All right. And in fact, Kelsey, I also owe you one. One of our questions from the audience was, how do you all collaborate together? So thank you. You answered that question. I appreciate that without even knowing the question was out there. Ben, where are we seeing for development? What's the future look like for?
Yeah, really exciting times here at UW-Madison. Hundreds of millions of dollars in new buildings that are, either recently completed or underway. You're aware of our computer data and information sciences building. We broke ground on that in April. CS now is our #1 major, and CS and data science are our two fastest growing majors. So we have a real opportunity there. I'm sure you're aware of the expanded and renovated chemistry building. We finally got that completed. And as you know, chemistry is the on-ramp to so many other majors on campus. And so that's really a game changer. Baki, recreation and well-being, the vet med building, and a new academic building for letters and sciences. We're really pushing on the engineering building. We were disappointed that the state did not enumerate that project in the budget, but we're not giving up. Working with the business community and stakeholders all across the state to get that across the finish line. And we're also embarking on something called the West Campus Innovation District. And I think, Jason, you're familiar with that. And we can get into more details later, but we're looking at the west side of campus and development opportunities to optimize that space. Let's think of the land between the vet school and the hospital. And there's some buildings that we need to take offline. And we're sort of thinking in partnership with the city and businesses what our footprint could look like out there. So lots of exciting developments, either near completion or just getting underway.
Yeah, I mean, there's some game changer projects. Obviously, the computer data information sciences building. We're still pushing hard, obviously, for an engineering building. But the Bakke Center, if you have not seen this place, this is not where I worked out in college. It is an incredible facility right on the waterfront. So kudos to all of the students that actually help pay for that through their services and fees. So continued, great to see the investment at MSOE, at Marquette, and at UW. And with that, I want to say a huge thank you to Joellen, to Kelsey, and for Ben for joining us. I thought a very interesting and important conversation about institutes of higher education in downtown. Again, I think we are sitting in a very fortunate place to have wonderful institutions like MSOE, Marquette, and UW, and also Madison College and many of the other colleges that are in and around our downtowns. It really does create the vibrancy, that economic strength, helps with equity and inclusion, and it makes it a really great place to live, work, and visit. We're going to give the last word before we thank our sponsors. Again, we've got thanks to Reinhardt, to the Bolt Company, and to our friends at Whipfly. But we're going to give the last word to our good friends in Milwaukee downtown, Matt Dorner, and the president and CEO, Beth Weirich. What did you all think of this important conversation today?
Well, first of all, thanks so much, everybody. It's so critical. I think we all share the same concern about the future of our overall environments and our cities, with a great, strong focus on sustainability, housing, business education, that workforce pipeline, definitely, and strengthening our connections with the universities and, of course, the students in those universities. And to Ben's point earlier, even if these students leave, the objective here is that they boomerang and come back to our communities. But it's interesting because, as you know, we just updated our downtown area plan, and so many of the topics that you addressed, Kelsey, Joellen, and Ben, are all of those goals and those big goals that we've set to aspire to bring forth in the community as we move forward in the next 2 decades. So thank you so much. Growing downtown, investing in our third spaces, our placemaking, our public spaces, housing affordability, sustainability is really critical, multimodal transportation. So all of those initiatives, we are in lockstep. And I thank you so much for your infrastructure investments, your care for the community, and for providing an amazing, amazing workforce, but also individuals who really care and are connected to our community. And a shout out to you, Jason. You are amazing and awesome. Love your energy, and so very, very grateful for you and this innovative idea and all of this knowledge and information that you bring forward to both of our communities. So thank you so much.
Well, Matt, please, final word.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think obviously Beth summed it up perfectly, especially, really talking about, again, the downtown plan. And that plan was talking about connecting MKE. So it's all about connections physically, socially, economically, and just across the board. So I really look forward to the continued conversation with all of our partners here and how we continue to advance all the things that all the things that Beth had just mentioned. So this was incredible, and I think a lot of alignment around the importance of partnership moving forward to really take big steps forward. Everybody understanding it's the business community, it's going to be the city, it's going to be our anchor institution. So everybody being on the same page with a sort of a common goal, and this is really exciting. So I look forward to the next conversation.
Put a big bow on the whole thing. Want to say a big partner thank you to Madison or Milwaukee downtown. They are doing some incredible work. In fact, we are about to embark on a strategic visioning document for our downtown, very similar to theirs, and we are speaking with them now about it. So it's great to see the partnerships go even farther between our two organizations. Again, to Ben, to Kelsey, and to Joellen, and our friends at Milwaukee Downtown, thank you for joining us for this really great conversation about the importance of universities and colleges and forms of higher education in our downtowns. We'll see you again in December for our next Madison Milwaukee Downtown Exchange. And no matter what, between then and now, we'll see you in our downtowns, ready with shopping bags in your hands, eating a lunch, doing whatever it is to support our small businesses downtown. It matters. Hope you have a wonderful day and happy Halloween. Talk to you soon.